Ladies and gents, welcome back. Welcome back to another live stream. If you're tuning in now, this is the live stream. And if you're tuning in later, this is where you get to listen to me talking for a good hour and a half to 2 hours pre-recorded. But yeah, so this is the live stream. I do videos in the mornings, and I can only get to so many throughout all of the stories that happen, of course, in Canada and the world in the news. And so I can get to what I can get to, and then I spend more time either deep diving some of these stories in the live stream or talking about other ones that are like smaller stories that I can't make a whole 10-minute video whatever out of. DJ Grom, oh my god, it's Clyde. It's me. You see me nearly every day if you're paying attention to the channel. Happy Friday, Max Power. Hey, I just ordered your book, and I can't wait to do a review of it. Before you tell me, no, I would have sent it to you. No, I'm happy to pay for it. So, yeah, I just ordered that. Looking forward to it. And everybody else, you should be looking forward to my review of it, because I'm going to be doing that pretty soon. What else we got here? Clyde's studio, an airlock, or is it an underground shelter? Oh, just keep that one a mystery, I guess. That is the thing. Dang it, I was going to send you a copy. Yeah, you don't have to now. I ordered one. I might take you up on that hardcover, though. Because all that's available right now is the paperback. But, hey, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm really looking forward to receiving it. How is everybody doing this amazing Friday evening? I know, I understand for some people this is a little late. But I live on the West Coast, and it's not late here. It's only 6:30, so I only had time to get home, get cleaned up, eat dinner with the fam, hang out, and then get right in here and start doing this stream for you guys. So here I am for you in the East Coast. Holy cow. What is it, Eastern time? It's 9:30. Yeah, it gets pretty late. It gets pretty late, unfortunately. It's a big continent, and there's a lot of time zones through the whole thing. 5:30 here. Don't know where that is, John. Doing well here in Eastern Ontario. Yep, doing well, but just very late at night. That just happens to be the thing. 9:30 is a late start time for getting going. Bit annoyed, was looking to get some long home defensive devices, but DMV didn't give me an actual license, just temp one, and I can't use it to purchase said devices. Womp, 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 womp. But hey, at least you still can buy those kinds of devices where you are. Cracker, my man, welcome. Thanks for coming to mod the chat. Need to wait nearly a week or two, sadly. Well, guess what? If you live in Canada, you do not have the right to defend yourself. That happens to be the case here in Canada. You're only allowed to apparently fight off an attacker with equal or less force. I mean, why less? Less force would not get you to be fighting off an attacker. That would be not a good idea. You always come to fight with what you can. But no, not in Canada. Not in Canada. That is not the way it goes. Of course, I'm sure people have ways around that. I'm not going to say anything more. But hey, I'm welcoming more and more people into the chat as we get into this. I don't want to bring up too many of the stories. So all the people that are just getting notified now by YouTube and by whatever other means, let me know in the chat. Where did you get a notification to come watch this live stream? Because, yeah, it's important to me. And I like to add more to that for all the thousands and thousands of subscribers out there that want to join in but don't get the notifications. Did you see Jordan Peterson just promoted PP for the conservative leadership? I didn't. Did he say that on Twitter? I know he had a conversation with Pierre, and Pierre immediately got the media backlash for saying Anglo-Saxon. Golly, you said words that come from history. Golly. And a word that means Anglo-Saxon, when he was talking about the terms, using Anglo-Saxon terms, he's talking about using simple language that everybody can get behind and everybody can understand. And you don't have to be a university scholar to get the words that you're throwing out there. Clyde's mother calls all of us by phone to tell us about the live stream. Thanks, Mom. Thanks for putting that out there. Busy lady. Hi from Victoria, BC. Hey, how you doing? Team Paranormal. Wow, you seeing lots of paranormal stuff. I love seeing all the salt in the chat. I know when we got Salty Crew coming in from Salty Cracker. That's where I see most of that. People putting all them salt shakers in the chat. Love it. Fun stuff. But hey, we got all kinds of stuff to get into this evening. When Clyde makes fun of Will Smith's wife, Will slaps himself. Nice. Thanks for that. Hey, Jelly Duck, thanks for doing something and becoming a member. Well, you are a member, but you're just upping it up, getting in there for another month. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All the support helps so much. I'm able to, haven't been able to clean my room, of course, since the beginning. I was hoping to get on that this weekend. We'll see if I have time for it, because wow, life is busy. And as Jordan Peterson we're talking about just now, he tells you clean your room. That is one of the 12 steps to a better life. I have a pretty good life. I just don't have a clean room. Unfortunately, that's that's kind of where I'm at with that. But yeah, had to search for your live stream notice. Oof indeed. Maybe that Bill C-11, when it comes out, holy cow, I'm gonna be sunk right to the bottom. I know that for sure. Just with the, you don't want to criticize our current regime if you want to be put on the top of the list. Because that's what that Bill C-11 is all about. No notice. So how did you hear about the stream, lovely Flight? Was it the Discord or Twitter? Because I put out a tweet and a mention in Discord. Looks fine to me. Nice. The salt goes with everyone's Corona drink. Nice. That's the only kind of Corona that I want to get. But I'll tell you what. Both of them leave you with a hangover and not much more. That's kind of where I'm at there. Am I getting notified for my own stream? Nope. That's not what that is. That's something else. All right. Got a bunch of you in here. Let's get into it. Let's get into what are we talking about tonight? There's all kinds of things to talk about. But oh yeah, I wanted to say it's interesting because we all know the term con man. And the con man, it doesn't stand for convict. It stands for confidence. He's a confidence man. So where have we heard that recently? Well, maybe from an inquiry that was going on in the Parliament to do with the Emergencies Act. So we have here, and this is a tweet from True North with some footage of the inquiry into the Emergencies Act, supposed to shed light on why the government invoked the act to quash the peaceful Freedom Convoy protest. Government witnesses at the committee have hid behind cabinet confidentiality. Oh, they got that confidence going on, confidence scheme happening in cabinet. A number of occasions to avoid telling the truth. Well, we want transparency, they say, but except when you ask us some questions. Hey, how about some confidence?
Thank you for the question, Mr. Green. You'll understand that, first of all, I'm constrained, first of all, by cabinet confidence, which is a fundamental principle of the Westminster system, as well as by solicitor-client privilege, which is also a fundamental principle according to our Supreme Court in our legal system.
Why did it take 24 days?
Thank you for the question, Senator Harder. It was an unprecedented situation, and obviously I will not divulge cabinet confidence. You're well aware of that, nor will I divulge or betray solicitor-client privilege.
Is that correct?
I'm not going to betray cabinet confidence.
You'll betray the rest of us, but not cabinet confidence, that's for sure. What is with that? Ashamed Canadian, hello, Clyde, and thank you for all the great work. You're welcome, and thank you for hanging out and paying attention. If it wasn't for you guys paying attention, then I wouldn't have, my work would be all in vain, would it not? But here we are.
And so the financing measures came into place.
In those consultations, did you consult with provincial attorneys general?
There were, we did have a consultation report. There were, again, I'm not going to betray cabinet confidences.
And I would ask that you undertake to provide the analysis and the information that you were made aware of, that you relied upon to be part of making the invocation for this particular Emergencies Act, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Motz. I understand the sentiment behind the question, and I certainly share the goal of transparency.
But
I think Canadians will understand
Oh.
that cabinet confidence is a critical part of our cabinet governance system.
Can somebody tell me in the chat why? Why is secrecy within the cabinet when they're making crucial decisions about our safety after the fact, held in confidence? Why is confidentiality important after the fact? Because if we're trying to get to the heart of the matter, I honestly, like, in my opinion, if it's held in confidence, then then they're not proving demonstrably why they would enact the act itself, to invoke the act. My bad.
You know, I can't get into the details of specific discussions, but I can say that, yeah.
Why can't we get into the details, Commissioner? Sorry.
Well, because they were within cabinet, and I'm bound by that cabinet confidence. But I can talk about in general.
The grin she's got.
I'm bound by that cabinet.
Well, they were in cabinet.
Well,
that's
because,
why.
they were within cabinet. And
Oh, I don't have to tell you because they were within cabinet. So that's all you got to do. You don't even have to plead the fifth like they do in the US. So you don't want to incriminate yourself. Just talk about it in cabinet, and then you never have to speak of it again. That seems to be, wow. Thank you, Clyde, for keeping an eye on them for us. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of us keeping an eye on them. Wow, Jelly Duck gifted 5. There's gifted memberships now? I didn't know that was a thing. Thank you so much. Wow. Gifting memberships out to lots of people in the community. Thank you so much, Jelly Duck. Really appreciate it. That's really cool. That's a new thing on YouTube, I guess. I know a lot of people have been asking for it, and that's now a thing. But hey, if you're watching the show afterwards, like, unless you're paying attention to the chat, that's a replay. You're not seeing what's going on here. But yeah, people can become members of the channel. It's a way of supporting the channel. A couple of bucks a month, and Jelly Duck just gifted memberships to a bunch of people. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for that.
and I'm bound by that cabinet confidence, but I can talk about in general. I provided the situational report, which would have provided them the details that they needed to come up with some of the measures.
Are you still maintaining solicitor and client privilege? Are you willing to waive that?
Well, I'm also bound by cabinet confidence as well.
You're not part of the cabinet. You're not part of that confidence.
No, but I am when I provide them information in cabinet.
To be continued. Oh, do I?
Seconds.
Oh.
Go ahead.
To be continued. I like that.
You're not part of cabinet. You're not an elected official. So why are you hiding behind cabinet confidentiality? Canadians
point of
want
order,
to
Madam
know.
Chair, I would just request that the
And you know what? That's a really good point, because that's all they're doing is they're hiding behind it. They're hiding behind confidentiality. Hiding the why of their decisions is perfectly normal behavior for sociopathic narcissists who want to twist their crimes into being your fault. Absolutely. Absolutely. Projecting onto you, gaslighting, and getting you to believe that you're the one at fault. Yeah, that's definitely the behavior of sociopathic narcissists, the dark triad traits of sociopathy. No, I definitely agree with you on that one. But this is confidence. Get out of here.
Questions go through the chair rather than directly to the witness.
I didn't think we were that formal, Madam Chair, that we had to
We
say
weren't
through the
before the
chair.
badgering, but now we are.
The question. We stopped the clock. Okay, we'll go ahead. It's 37 seconds.
Why do you feel you are bound by cabinet confidentiality as an unelected official?
Great
When
question.
I'm providing information within cabinet, I'm bound by the rules of cabinet.
Are you part of the Liberal government, Miss Lucky?
Not at all.
Are you a donor to the Liberal Party?
No,
You sure about that?
You sure about that?
I'm sure.
Are you still citing cabinet confidentiality?
Yes.
And can I ask yourself, do I feel lucky? Yeah, she feels lucky, Miss Lucky. But yeah, that's the confidence scheme that we have in our government, where they, for them under oath to not answer questions. Oh, sorry, we spoke of that in cabinet, so we don't have to answer these questions. We're just gonna avoid any answers that you're looking for in the pursuit of the truth on the matter of why you invoked the Emergencies Act, because, well, they didn't demonstrably show any evidence for why the act needed to be invoked in the first place. And yeah, it was just a scare tactic to scare the citizens of Canada out of supporting what they supported, and that was the Freedom Convoy protest and what they stood for. And especially after 2 years of this whole COVID thing, I lived this abuse through my mother. I only hit you because you made me. Oh yeah, right. And because I love you, turd in our current government are a reclamation or reincarnation of her. Oh, I mean, that's got to be so triggering for you to watch the gaslighting that occurs every time the government gets up, and every time Trudeau, some of the worst stuff out there. Actually, I had a clip. I was going to save it for later, but I might as well show it now because this is just absurd. This is a clip of Trudeau in the past and mixed with, edited pretty well, but it turns into a campaign ad, but whatever, is what it is.
Listen very carefully to those who like to point fingers. Listen very carefully for those who choose to divide or play up fears and insecurities as a way of advancing a political agenda.
He said they don't believe in science. They're often misogynistic, often racist, but they take up space. And with that, we have to make a choice in terms of a leader as a country. Do we tolerate these people? It's like, tolerate? Now you do sound like him.
Right?
Look for people who genuinely want to bring people together.
So this guy, the way he talks, it's like, it's exactly like what you're saying, Lynn. When he says stuff, you just, it's exactly, he's projecting exactly what he's doing to other people in his behavior. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting to listen to. But yeah, it's definitely one of those things. C-Dubs. Yeah, James Top. I'm going to be having a chat with him tomorrow morning. I told him and his team that I normally am not able to stream during the day because I work all day, and then I do Friday night live streams. And then we worked something out because he's beat by the end of the day, and for obvious reasons, right? So he couldn't do a live stream in the evening. So tomorrow I'm going to do another stream, have a conversation with him, and we'll see how it goes. Because, yeah, I'm still working with the technical side of how it all works. So looking forward to chatting with him, though. He had his team reach out to me because he saw my video about him and was like, oh, this guy's great. Let's have a chat. So really looking forward to that.
and work with them. Make your voices heard.
What is it about is dividing people, dividing them by race, gender, sexuality, vaccination status. By next year, they'll have invented a new way to divide our people.
See, here's the problem.
I turned into a Pierre Poilievre campaign ad. Pierre, love you, brother, but stop the epic music. It's just trash and it's annoying. It feels like 2002 internet YouTube. It's just the epic music just drives me up the wall. Holy cow.
Trudeau thinks he's your boss. He's got it backwards. You are the boss. That's why I'm running for Prime Minister, to put you back in charge of your life. Together, we will make Canadians the freest people on earth.
I'm down for that. I could get on board with that. Being the freest people on earth. We'll see how that pans out. Is essentially where we're at. We'll see how that pans out. If you haven't yet talked with James Topp, then be warned. You're gonna love him. He's such a sweet man. Well, I've watched chats that he's had with other people. I watched him talk with Viva Fry, and yeah, he seems like a really, really cool guy. And I'm really looking forward to it. I am really looking forward to it. Hopefully I can bring something different to the table than other people have brought in the way of chats. Because yeah, I want to hear some new things for sure. Maybe I got some different questions or something. I don't know. I'm not much of an interview guy. I just like having conversations with people, and conversations are great, and they end up evolving into what they end up evolving into all on their own. And I'm kind of out of control on that one there. Pierre claims he will ban the WEF from Parliament. Yeah, I've done a couple of videos talking about that, and people hit me up on social media. I've had a few people ask me, oh, there's like a Wayback Machine or an archive of the WEF website where there was a mention of his name. He had a quasi profile or whatever on the World Economic Forum website. A lot of people asking me that. He addressed the question himself. I did a video about that. I believe I did. But yes, he's addressed the question. He says, I don't know why it was up there. They didn't contact me. I haven't been there. So I can only go on that. There was the other thing was, I'm saying a lot tonight. What's wrong with me? The other thing was Kenny out in Alberta. He had been asked about the World Economic Forum at one point. And one thing that he said was that he had nothing to do with them. He wanted nothing to do with them, but that Klaus Schwab had sent him a book, the COVID-19 book, Great Reset, and that it was unsolicited. He just got it in the mail one day, and he's like, he said he leafed through it, and he read, and it just sounded like corporate gobbledygook or something along those lines, and was not into it and didn't want to rule the world, essentially. So I take it similarly, like maybe Pierre's profile was put up there by somebody else, and then boom, then there it was. Yeah, see, people are saying Kenny was on it. I don't know. Kenny's gone, though, so there's no worry about that. Kenny was instrumental in bringing Clyde something. I like that. That's funny. But I'm doing it again. I'm ahhing a lot. As soon as you think about saying a lot, that's when all the ahs come out. Kenny, or as I call him, Fat Stalin, is full of crap. I don't believe a word that comes out of his mouth. Yeah, fair enough. I don't know much about Kenny. He said a lot of good words, but apparently what he implemented and what he voted for was not the same. So that's an interesting one to bring to the table. But let's get into some funny stuff here. But yeah, Pierre Poilievre, I don't know. I don't believe that he was part of the World Economic Forum. Typically, the types that do say that they are or were don't deny that fact. Like they're not full on, hey, I like trying to hide it. They're typically proud of it. They're proud globalist types. Kenny gone, thank God. Now get rid of Surrey and Trudeau. Yeah, we got to get rid of, I mean, Surrey's getting rid of himself the way he talks. If you heard him at the debate, the French-speaking debate, I don't speak French. I mean, un petit peu. I learned a little bit in school where we're all forced to, but I don't really typically latch onto the idea of forcing bilingualism on people. And I don't necessarily agree with the idea of Canadian leaders having to have that as a thing in order to be part of office. In fact, I put this tweet out today just to express my opinion on the matter. And so I said, what's more devastating for all Canadians? I think it was things were devastating. People were talking about things that are devastating. And I said, what's more devastating for all Canadians is that we'll only ever get the best bilingual person for the job, English and French, not the best person for the job. I don't care if you speak only Vietnamese. If you're the best person, we're all better off worth having a translator at that point. Sometimes at the end of your tweet, you have to just sum up sentences to the not incorrect grammar. My bad. I'm missing some of these super chats that you guys are so kind enough to send my way, as I'm missing all the chats. I try not to only read the super chats, but Spawny 420 with the 420 Canadian. It's still 420. There you go. Thanks for the super chat. Jeannie P, following you from the start. Thank you for all you do. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I do what I can, and I've been trying to save on my voice. Ever since I got that cold a couple of weeks ago, my voice has been, I've been having to keep that whistle wet. You know what I mean? So drinking lots of soda water. That is the routine. This being the new newsroom, National Media Centers. This is, I mean, what's the point of spending all that money to bring people the news? Really? What is the point? And the stories that you get for all that money? Oh, holy cow. Let's get into some of that, because this is where it gets funny. Now, you guys saw I covered this story, interestingly enough, about how Justin Trudeau called off one of his expensive plate dinner events. And I'm talking $1,000 a plate to show up for him for his fundraiser. I don't know why he needs to raise funds. Whatever the case. He's always raising funds. So you can't have dinner with this guy in the room unless you're spending a minimum $1,000 a plate. Anyway, he canceled showing up to it in favor of just doing a couple of minutes on Zoom for the event, because people said things that were racial in the slurs, all kinds of slurs, apparently. Now, I covered this this week in a video yesterday. EMCC, thanks for the super chat. Great stuff as always, Clyde. Thank you so much. But yeah, this story here. So the funny part was, no matter where the guy goes, and this is the news. This is the news. No matter where he goes, nobody likes him. No matter where he goes, he gets heckled by the locals. And that is the story. That's the story. That's the story I ran with. And holy cow, a lot of people paying attention to it, clicking on that video, watching it, and leaving comments and leaving likes, because that is the story. And that's what went on, right? But no, they got to turn it into something else, because Tree Climber, you nailed it. Clown World. Because it's Clown World. So what do? We call the whole thing racist. And that's the motivation behind the people that had these things, right? So CBC News is from Mega Ramak. I'm gonna give him a follow. Hey, thanks for following me. Mega Ramak. CBC News quietly alters headline as there is zero evidence of racial slurs. Fact is, the anger and protests all have one focus. They know it. He knows it, and they continue to rely on how complacent you all are. Wake up. Also follow Real Andy Lee Show now. Okay, I should do that. But here's the image. I have a blown up version of the image so I can scan around on it. So Trudeau cancels appearance at Surrey fundraiser after protesters hurl racial slurs. Well, what did they change that to? Trudeau cancels appearance at Surrey fundraiser over protests related safety concerns. You can't make this stuff up. It's too funny. It's way too funny. They're just horrible at their job, right? Oh, sorry, I'm in the way here. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was forced to cancel plans attending a fundraiser dinner on Tuesday evening after two speakers at the event said protesters hurled racial slurs at the mostly South Asian attendees entering a convention center in Surrey, BC. Now, what did I say about that in my video? This is going to be like some Inception stuff here, because this isn't me. I'm on top of my own video here. But what did I say to this? Or what do we have here? The National Post saying Trudeau cancels appearance at event in BC after protesters hurl racial slurs. And so, mind you, this is a different article entirely too, because the one in the picture here is I believe it's CTV. Was it? No, it's CBC News. And this other one that I'm covering was the National Post. Of course, look at that. Look how angry that man behind the fence is. Just had to capture that for the article. Trudeau canceled appearance at an event in BC after protesters hurled racial slurs. Of course. Okay. So remember this title. But listen to what I say here. No evidence of it. The report just reports on these things, but shows no proof that any of that actually occurred. Earlier this month, protesters. So there you go. No actual proof, just straight up what? Throwing it out there. Now I have the article. So this is the tweet that's still active for the National Post. You can't edit a tweet. So the tweet's still up. They haven't deleted their tweet. And I tried, I refreshed it. But it still says the same thing, and the tweet's still up. And oh, where's their article? Oh, just click on it. Here we go. What does the article say now? Trudeau cancels appearance at event in BC amid angry protests. Oh, this is incredible. This is incredible because I have it right here. There's the headline from yesterday. Trudeau cancels appearance in event in BC after protesters hurl racial slurs. Changed to in BC amid angry protests. Did they tell you what they edited? No. Just says a day ago, 2-minute read. Lots of comments. Oh, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But there was this story that was written back in 1947. It was a fantastic story that was written. And it was about this one man. And he lived in the future, is a fiction story. He lived in the future and he worked for this party called Ingsoc. And he worked at a part of the party called the Ministry of Truth. And what his job was to go in and change the newspaper articles so that it fit the current, what the party was putting out there right now. Yes, in Oceania. Can anybody tell me the story? Whoa, there it is. There it is, 1984. And that's what they did in 1984. And at the time that the story was written, that was so absurd to do that. It was absurd to go in and change the newspapers without coming out and making a retraction. You can't, the idea of changing the past was so absurd to people that when they read that, they were mind blown at the concept that that would be possible. That they could just go in and edit the news after the fact, as if it never happened, as if they never did a thing. And that is just insane to me, that we're living in this world right now. We're living in the world where I can go back to my video from a day ago and show the original. I don't even have to have like a Wayback Machine. I don't have to have archives of this stuff. All I got to do is go back to my own video where I'm looking at and reading this article and show that they're changing the past, because he who controls the past controls the future. What is it? He who controls the past controls the future, and he who controls the present controls the past? My God. What a concept. What a concept. And especially, maybe somebody wrote a book about it. Maybe called The Great Narrative. I'm seeing that name in the chat. Klaus Schwab, the Schwabers. Apparently his dad's name was Jürgen Schwab. He was a Jürgen Schwab. He was also part of the Clankety Clank crew. He didn't have a funny mustache, but he was definitely a close follower of the man with the funny mustache. Have you heard about the retired military and police? They're working on fixing our government. 6 or so weeks ago, they said action within 8 weeks. So coming very soon. Do not know about that. I tend to, well, unless I hear about like a formal article or something like that, it sounds very Q to me. And Q stuff is just like, what? I don't know. This idea that all of a sudden people are just going to come out of the woodworks and do the thing. Keep up the good work, buddy. Much respect from Northern BC. Thank you so much, Totes. Appreciate it. Totes McFresh. I love that. That's such a great handle. Thanks for that. No, I definitely appreciate that. Thank you so much. Doing what I can. I'm doing what I can. Because I'm looking at it this way. People are paying attention. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to keep talking about it. Because for too long, people have been just asleep. Whew. I got to keep going. I got to keep going. It's like, it's a calling now. Like, I have to do it. But, yeah, let's see how far they've changed this article, because this is just ridiculous to me. So, yeah, the original one was, pardon me, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was forced to cancel his plans to attending a fundraiser dinner on Tuesday evening after two speakers said at the event said protesters hurled racial slurs at the mostly South Asian attendees entering the convention center in Surrey. Well, they changed that to, what? Prime Minister Justin Trudeau canceled plans to attend a Liberal Party fundraiser dinner in Surrey on Tuesday evening as a result of safety concerns over a large gathering of protesters outside the event, which I in my video, I showed footage of those protesters, and they were all peaceful, just standing there with signs. Protesters allegedly harassed and hurled racial slurs at attendees and volunteers. Many of them were South Asian, according to Surrey Centre MP Randeep Saral. Okay, so they actually tried to throw out some proof, but it's just hearsay at that point. The fundraiser was being held at RE Banquet Hall. Surrey says the group of protesters were stationed outside the front gates of the event, eventually growing to around 100 people. This is a cell phone now, because they keep trying to say, oh, it was a small crowd. It wasn't a lot of people. 100 people outside of a tiny little event at a moment's notice? That's a lot. Jackie, thank you so much for the super chat. 21. Nice. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. They just started swearing, yelling, screaming at everyone that was going through, said Sari. We had a lot of South Asian volunteers that were harassed, sworn at, called towelhead, raghead, you're all immigrants. He says it's unclear that the group was actually protesting. I saw footage of what they were saying, and none of that was there. So we're in the age where it's like pics or it didn't happen, video or it didn't happen. There's a lot of people making claims and not a lot of substance to it. So not buying it. Surrey RCMP confirmed in a statement that they were several vehicles and larger trucks towing trailers that were traveling in a convoy-style loop around the roadway. Well, you got to keep moving, or you get arrested for loitering or something like that. That's how these things work. Due to the size and the composition of the protest group, for the safety of everyone in attendance, the discussion was made that it was not safe for the Prime Minister to attend the location, said Vanessa Munn. So here's the funniest part of this whole concept. So there was a bunch of people who allegedly said racial things about South Asian individuals that were at the event. So because of that, Justin Trudeau, a white guy, was not able to attend the event. What? What? I don't buy it. I don't buy it. That's too funny. And they're like, no. Stay and have those $1,000 plates. We're still going to collect the money for this event. But apparently it wasn't dangerous enough for the South Asian people, so they had to change the headline. Again, just sus. It sounds a little sus. I don't quite buy it. I'm not taking back what you're putting out there. It's just not happening. But like I said, the story here is that, well, Trudeau is the most hated PM in history. That's the story. That's the story right there. And you know what? I gotta hand it to Kian. I think Kian wrote this. Anyway, from the Counter Signal. Most of the articles I end up reading are Kian's. No, this is Thomas Lambert. Okay, Thomas Lambert. Good job. Hats off to you, buddy, for pointing this out. Because this is... Oh, and here's the footage. Hopefully I'm not too loud. Yeah, I'm not hearing a lot of... just loud noises. Trucks. But they had nothing to say about when he went to the Native community, because you can't say anything about them, because then they might have the racial things thrown back at them. So they just mark it up as they were angry with Trudeau. But wow, their community's been hit pretty hard under his rule over Canada. So and we're giving money away to other countries, but we can't take care of problems in our own communities. Here we are.
I had the opportunity earlier to speak to a number of elders, and I know for them it's something that they want to hear, me sharing my reflections. So I'd ask you, I hear your anger towards me, that's fine, but I'd ask you to respect your elders, please.
It's already gone through.
Thank you. I'm sorry for your anger.
That right after the guy says, shut up.
Thank you. We're here to honor the missing.
Shut up. Okay. The passive aggressive, I'm sorry for your anger, is like the worst thing ever. Like when if somebody has a genuine like grievance towards you, even if you don't believe that their grievance is genuine or whatever, right? And I'm just talking in a general sense. Like if somebody comes to you and says, you did something and I'm angry about it, the worst thing you could say to them is, I'm sorry I made you cry, or I'm sorry that you're angry at me. You're not helping the situation, and you're being a total prick. You're the one in the wrong there. Always. Like, it's just the most asinine thing to say to a person. I'm sorry for your anger. I'm sorry that you did a thing and you're upset about it. I'm sorry that, like the non-apology, throwing it out back at somebody else. But it seems like for him, it's a knee-jerk reaction. He's just that type, right? He's just that type to always throw it back in the other person's face. He's never wrong in what he does. It's never an issue. Oh, good Lord. I can't stomach the guy, but I got so many videos of him. And here's the other one that we gotta watch. We gotta sit here and watch.
There is no question that the world is changing rapidly and getting more dangerous in new ways than ever before. When we look at the prevalence of misinformation, of disinformation, the way social media has been weaponized both by foreign actors and by people within Canada pushing extremist views, trying to foment anger and discord, whether it's extremist ideology and right-wing terrorism on the rise in Canada.
Oh, it's so hard to stomach. So hard to stomach. The discord is from this guy telling people that certain groups of society are not welcome in society, that don't have a place. You know what I mean? That is the worst. That's the absolute worst. There was something I read in the chat here that made me laugh a second ago. 1 second. Who said it? Oh yeah, Trudeau. SCVM. Trudeau can't go. Nobody wants him at the destination either. That's funny. That cracks me up. But yeah, no, Trudeau, he's the one sowing all the discord. Again, this is that like narcissist dark triad is coming out of this guy where everything else is the other. It's the other. Blame the other for the thing that you're doing yourself. That's the tactic, and it's just disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting.
Canada, or whether it's examples like the illegal protests we saw in the winter. There are a whole new set of challenges that we need to be responding to, and that's why we're working closely with our national security agencies, working closely with organizations like the Canadian Security Establishment around communications to make sure that we are able to respond to these new realities. We need to
working closely to make sure that you're not prosecuted for the things that you did during that protest, the peaceful protest that was deemed to be legal by a Canadian judge. And interesting stuff coming out about what's going on there, because the Ottawa Police and the RCMP have both said that they did not consult the government or ask for any more powers or emergency powers or anything like that. They've all admitted that. This was straight out of Trudeau's cabinet. And there was apparently internal stuff going on, according to an article that I read back at the time, when he when it sounded like the Senate was not going to go through with it. And there was some grumblings at the time in an article. I really need to find that article again. But it was what was said in it? It was something along the lines of looking into internal cabinet minutes. There was talks amongst the Liberal Party at how they might find political benefit from having a state of emergency. That might be backfiring on them. And if we can get in and remove that confidentiality, maybe we could find out some stuff. Because the cabinet minutes and the cabinet confidence is something that I think we need to look at deeply for if this is something that we should tolerate, this level of secrecy in our government. Sorry, I spilled this when I was opening it. Came all out. Justin Trudeau is just as good a liar as Amber Heard. Yeah, Amber Turd in the news getting all kinds of attention these days. Hey, I try not to pay much attention to that. I know a bit about it. Just terrible stuff. All I know about the whole Johnny Depp thing is that I hope he wins this case. That's where I'm at with it. If you want to get details on that story, I think Viva Fry's covering a lot of it. There's a lot of other people, but yeah. Objection, hearsay. What? Yeah. That's just a terrible situation. I mean, I don't even want to. Yeah, I'm not getting into it. Because I'll talk about other things. So wrapping up this week, unless there's more time planned for it. Don't start on herd crap. I gave up on Viva Fry because of it. Oh, fair enough. I never planned to get into the Amber Heard stuff. I shared a couple of memes on Twitter about it, but that's it. I'm not interested in covering it as a news story. That's not my thing. I don't do celebrity gossip. I'm not that interested in that stuff. That's the celebrities. Celebrities, I don't care what they do with their personal lives. I really don't. I agree with Edward Norton when he says that celebrities, like actors, they're puppets made out of meat. Like, it's one thing to like an actor or whatever, but like you like the job they do. I don't care what they do in their personal life, to be honest. I really don't. If it's weird, it might make me like go, oh, I don't like them. When they get overly political, it makes me really not like them, because I don't care. Just do your thing. But when it comes to these like personal issues like divorces and no thanks. I mean, I've seen enough of that in the real world with real friends of mine going through like divorces and all that stuff. No thanks. I have no interest in following that deeply. Depp Heard trial is Viva's way of distressing. Give him a break. Oh, well, if that's his thing, I'm not saying don't do it, Viva. I'm saying go for it. That's just not my thing. I don't think I'm going to make that my thing. Not at all. I agree it's all fake. I don't know if it's all fake. I just don't care. I mean, poor guy got involved with a chick, didn't do a prenup. Now they're dealing with all this. The evil stuff people will do for money is what I see out of that. It's just like, that's terrible. Clyde, speaking of divorce, Elon Twitter takeover looks off at the moment. No, it doesn't look off. So I've been following this story as closely as I possibly can with all the other things that I have on my plate. The Elon story at the moment it's on hold. I think what Elon's doing is he's trying to get as low a price as he possibly can, or destroy Twitter. One or the other. Because if he destroys Twitter, he could create a vacuum where you could build another thing, and it would cost him $1 billion. If honestly, like if Twitter got destroyed, he would still owe contractually $1 billion, and then whatever the $4 billion that he lost, and then he could come in, scoop it up, and make it new and go with his own vision, and then earn its thing back again, or just kill it and then start somewhere else. I think his plan here was to out them for how many bots are on the network and how many bots are their active users. And if it's 25%, that's insane. Musk is evil as well. I don't know if I believe that. But we can disagree. That's fine. I think Musk, this is my opinion on Musk, and it's kind of an indifferent opinion, but I'm a fan as long as like his interests are aligned with mine. I think he really wants to get to Mars, and he's a believer in markets because markets got him where he's at. The freer the market, the better off he is. He was able to amass the wealth that he has, and he wants to be like the guy to be able to put people in space and go to Mars. I think that he sees the political and economic situation the way it's going, and with groups like the World Economic Forum and stuff. If totalitarianism comes down the pike, it's no good for what he wants to do, because totalitarianism is going to come with shrinking economies, lots of people in poverty. There's going to be less people going to learn higher education stuff, and more people just trying to take care of their own families and take care of their own things that they have to do in poverty. So there's going to be less engineers going into aeronautics and space travel. There's going to be less scientists to work on new developments for rockets and space travel and all this stuff. In a roundabout way, his best bet is to make sure that we have the freest and most open society possible. That's my opinion, because of his own selfish interests. And his selfish interests align with me wanting the same thing, a free and open society. And I can get on board with that. Whether people think what he's doing is nefarious, but whatever. Why do you say Musk is WEF? I would be surprised. So I don't know if Musk is, I don't think Musk is WEF. Like maybe he was invited. I don't know. Does he ever spoke at the World Economic Forum? All in Clyde. Oh, okay. He also supports that WEF. I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if he supports that. And I'll tell you why. Because he's been warning about AI for so long. And I think he's really on the opposite side of the AI debate from like the Klaus Schwab types. Klaus Schwab thinks that AI is going to replace the price mechanism, and then we're no longer going to need capitalism. And when I say capitalism, I'm referring to the market economy, right? All of these thinkers, these people, the plutocrat types, right? They always think that they're smart and they have a better idea for the way the world works. Oh, we have these simple rudimentary systems like capitalism. You know, I mean, Marx was the same way. He thought he was smarter than ecology, right? Honestly, if you look at the market economy was never invented by a person. The market economy is what occurs when governments get the heck out of the way, and the market economy takes place. Monies come into fruition when the government gets out of the way. But obviously bankers have been and governments have been messing with this system for some time. But again, market economies come about. It's almost like the natural state of things, right? So Karl Marx came in, he thought he was so smart, just like Pluto, and thought he was super smart. Capitalism, he named it capitalism, the market economy. Market economies even exist in jails. You're right. It's a phenomenon of human nature. We buy and sell and trade with each other, and you can't stop it. And by trying to, it's been tried too many times. We're gonna get rid of the price mechanism, or we're gonna get rid of markets, and we're gonna have a centralized authority that's gonna allocate resources. That's all an economy is a way of allocating resources, and it's the most efficient thing that we've ever seen. And the more we try to tamper with it, the less efficient it gets. That's just the way it is. There's a great essay called iPencil, and it has nothing to do with Apple. It was the craze time that the essay was written. It's not a long read. I think it's like 3 pages long, but it describes how a pencil that has all these elements that come from all over the world can be put together in this seemingly synchronicity. Like, it seems like synchronicity, but it's not. It's all selfish actors with their own selfish interests coming together and creating this thing that if one man made it, it would cost ridiculous amounts of money, but you can get a pencil for a few cents. And the article goes into like the wood that's cultivated to make the wood for the pencil, the graphene that's mined to make the lead. There's the brass that makes the little collar for the eraser, and then there's the rubber that is cultivated from trees in another part of the world. All this stuff comes together seamlessly, so you can get a pencil for a couple of cents. And everybody has their own selfish interests, and it's a fantastic thing. Where was I going with this? I go on tangents. The Klaus Schwab, he thinks that AI is going to be the thing that solves this. So it's going to be better than the market economy at allocating resources, just like Marx thought a central authority could allocate resources. Everywhere they tried it, they've failed miserably. But yeah, that's the thing. Failure too. Monopolists, not enough players for some players way larger than others. I think I lost the context of what was going on. Clyde and his fancy pants organic pencils. That's funny. That's funny. I like organic pencils. Nice. iPencil is the essay. Look it up. Read it. It's fantastic. Clyde, thoughts on stakeholder capitalism? These are my thoughts on stakeholder capitalism. So Klaus Schwab has stated a bunch of times that stakeholder capitalism. In his recent talks, he doesn't call it stakeholder capitalism anymore. He says he's stakeholder like something else. He leaves out the capitalism because there's so many commies and socialists that are paying attention to it now, and he wants to tune into them. But essentially, stakeholder capitalism is Mussolini's fascism, but more like a Hitlerian model. So if you look at the actual, so a lot of these they're supposed to be like systems of organizing society. They're systems of economic organization is what they are. Organizing society comes after the fact. They're talking about radically changing economies. Marx's idea, the central authority, terrible. But then that turned into other ideas, and that evolved into other things. Mussolini's fascism, but then also the Hitlerian model. Hitlerian model was this idea that, wait for it, essentially you own nothing and you're happy. So the way they played it out was you would be given the facade of ownership over anything, but at the end of the day, the social contract was that the government could usurp anything that you have in your possession and use it for the state purposes at any time for any reason. And that was Hitler's model, and it was for the idea that the bundle of sticks and the the fasciste. But it was to be, things were to be decided. So you're a manager essentially of your own possession, and the state could come in and say, for the greater good, we want you to change what you're doing with your stuff. We want you still to manage it. We're not gonna confiscate it from you like the communists do. You still have it. You still manage it, but you're gonna change your directives and you're gonna change what you do with your assets. And that's essentially the idea behind this stakeholder capitalism thing. But they have a lot of interest in AI, and it's mentioned a lot that the fourth industrial revolution will be this concept that AI will now become this new thing that is kind of like the Industrial Revolution, when goods and services became much more prevalent, and we were able to make things on industrial scales because of the division of labor and all of this stuff, right? So the division of labor was the Industrial Revolution, and they think that AI coming in is going to be this malevolent thing that's going to take care of us all, and it's going to figure out the price mechanism. We don't need to, and we can do it from a central authority, and we could give it direction, and we could tweak it, and we can have, you know, the you know, all of the things that we want, and we want to have our cake, and then we want to eat it too, and then all the people can eat cake, and you all can eat cake. Essentially. That's really what it is, because the Terminator is not possible. AI. But yeah, that's where they're at, and I believe that's in a nutshell what they believe. Clyde, do something. I am a faithful viewer. Keep up the good work, and thank you so much, Possum22. I love that name, Possum22. I almost have to put a southern twang on that to say it. Our PM is concerned about impact of this disclosure against Canadians. Why not acknowledge, apologize, and make amends with the Canadian population? Humble thing to do, or too late? It's too late for him. It's too late for him. There's too many people that would not forgive him for what Canadians went through for 2 years, and the pitting people against each other. People never forgive him for that. It's been done for too long. So, you know, political parties have always done this. They pit Canadians against Canadians, whether you're French speakers versus Anglophones, whatever they can pit against you, whether you support pro-choice, pro-life, that's a reason to pit people against each other. The vaccine was just another thing to pit people against each other. And yeah, people will never forgive him for that. It's just never going to happen. And that's going to be a huge swath of society. People are never going to forgive him for going after donors to a protest, freezing people's bank accounts. And it's amazing because a lot of people are just quiet on the issue now, because obviously afraid for whatever reason, and they're quiet on the issue, but they'll never forget that. And the minute they get a chance to vote for somebody else, he's gone. Unless they fortify the elections. I love how that's code word now. Yeah, a lot of people want that guy in jail. That's for sure. That's for sure. But what were you going to talk about? We're going to talk about the World Economic Forums in Davos. The global elites conspire to take away your rights. I can't believe the Washington Times actually wrote this article. Just straight up saying the quiet part out loud about Schwaby with his just you can't get this out. Oh, the reason why I think Elon's not on board with this whole World Economic Forum thing, I was getting into that, the AI stuff. Elon's on the other side of it. He doesn't think, like, he knows AI is inevitable, but he doesn't think we should, like, entrust it. Watch his talk with Joe Rogan. He talks about that quite a bit. And you can tell that he's biting his tongue, and he knows that there's a lot of wealthy people that have a lot of faith in it. And when you go in knowing that and listening to what he has to say again, you can tell that he knows more than he's letting on. I'm just going to put it there and you guys can check it out. But yeah, here's the old the Schwab. I can't say his name without laughing.
The future is not just happening. The future is built by us, by a powerful community as you here in this room. We have the means to improve the states of the world.
I think he was about to bang the table. He's like, shaky fist, smash podium, shaky fist. He almost came out with it. And then he in the back of his head, he's probably like, yeah, a little too obvious now, isn't it? A little too obvious.
But two conditions are necessary.
So the two conditions.
The first one is that we act all as stakeholders of larger communities, that we serve not our only self-interests, but we serve the community. That's what we call stakeholder responsibility.
Now that sounds fantastic until you think about like the corporate model of serving the community. You are the stakeholder and you need to serve the community. Well, how have they been serving us so far? You know, you cannot stop us, Mr. Bond. It's too true, man. He looks like a villain. You just you can't make this up. It's too much. Don't you mean Dr. Evil? Isn't that a huge coincidence that the writers of Austin Powers and James Bond were so dead on? It's weird. It's weird. And I think sometimes the most obvious is the most inconspicuous. You know what I mean? Because people are just like, yeah, right. What? No, this guy? No way. I don't believe you. That's no, it's too much. It's too much. It is. It's over the top. But yeah, what's the other condition?
And second, that we collaborate.
Oh, okay. So the second, that we collaborate, meaning one world government. That's what he's talking about. He's talking about that, and he's talking about making it mandatory so they have to. Billionaires can be programmed too. Yeah, sure they can. But they're just in a clique. It's just a group, and they all get, you know, sucked into this because, you know, they gotta it's like most places around North America. I don't know how it is around the world. I'm pretty sure it's like this in England and stuff too. But like there'd be like a golf course. So near where I live in West Vancouver. West Vancouver is like the most expensive place in Canada to be. It's like the Hollywood Hills of Canada. Hey man, just checking in real quick. Traveling, but I'm in the streaming spirit. Thanks, noob. Cheers. Where was I getting with that? Oh yeah. So the people that live there, a lot of them, they get a membership to the golf course there. And the golf course is some stupid amount of money, to like $50,000 or $100,000 just for your annual membership. That's not even going to play golf for the day. But you get a little sticker that you can put on your SUV, you know, that you're part of this golf club. And yeah, you would never want to be the one who gets invited to go golfing on the weekend, and you're caught without a membership. You know what I mean? And that's how the hoity-toity world works. And you gotta have your membership, you know? But yeah, see papers, please. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and he's got the comical German accent. It's just too funny. But what's not comical is maybe the history of. And I don't get much into the guilt of the father stuff. But when you follow in your father's footsteps, like honestly, so on the left you can see the founder of the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, and on the right his father, intimate confidant of Funny Mustache Man, the industrialist and fascistemondo, Jürgen Schwab. In uniform, Klaus was born in Funny Mustache Man, Germany in 1938. At the time, his pappy was in charge. He smiled more. Might see Klaus smile like that if he ever gets in charge. This is the face of an evil man who likes to commit genocide. Just throwing that out there. But yeah, they got some creepy stuff that they've been talking about at the World Economic Forum. This is just what?
We're developing, through technology, an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean?
What does that mean?
Where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned. We don't have it operational yet, but this is something that we're working on.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that mixed with a government ID, a digital ID, and the IMF's talking about money that can be what is the term that they use for the money where you can they can tell you what you can spend your money on these blockchain currencies. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So sounds a lot like the social credit system, but who am I? I'm just a guy. I pull wrenches on cars for a living. That's what I do. But I love pointing out that this was all conspiracy theory, just like yesterday. You know, it feels like yesterday, but it was a few months ago. But this was conspiracy theory, and even in our own government. And this is a clip. I just got to show this again because it just cracks me up every single time.
Speaker. Question or contact, questions and comments. The honourable member for Oshawa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I listened to my colleague's speech. I had a constituent that wanted me to ask a question about outside interference to our democracy. Klaus Schwab is the head of the World Economic Forum, and he bragged how his subversive WEF, World Economic Forum, has quoted infiltrated governments around the world. He said that his organization had penetrated more than half of Canada's cabinet. And I was wondering, in the interest of transparency, could the member please name which cabinet ministers are on board with the WEF's agenda? My concern is the deputy.
Order. I know the member was in a really good question there, but the audio was really bad and the video was really bad as well.
It was such a great question. I could hear it totally, perfectly clearly how great that question was, but the audio was so bad that we just can't move on. We just cannot answer that question. Like, you can't make this up. Oh my goodness. Cannot make this up. Here it continues.
And I apologize. I don't know if the member. Okay, let's try again. The honourable member for Timmins James Bay.
Mr. Speaker, that member is promoting open disinformation. That's not debate. We have to call out disinformation.
We'll get into debate.
We gotta call out disinformation. We gotta call out this disinformation. Well, why don't you prove it wrong? What's so disinformation about it? That there's a World Economic Forum. They meet every year in Davos. This is all common knowledge now. This is really, really funny. This guy, he's talking about disinformation. It's so clear as day that it's disinformation. I know you had to cut him off because the audio was terrible and couldn't hear him. And neither could I, but everything he said was disinformation. I mean, what? Oh, this is brutal. So I had a viewer, member of the community, tell me that they actually emailed that member and said, what was going on? Why did it get cut off? And why haven't you asked the question again? I don't know if I want to share the actual thing, but the member replied back, or his team replied back, saying, "Oh well, no, it seems like the Wi-Fi cut out, and well, the member just never had a chance to ask that question again." So it seems like maybe he was told behind the scenes, "Don't ask that. Don't ever ask that question again." And I believe he's complied with that. But that was good. It was good to conveniently disconnected. Yeah, exactly, right? But while he was being disconnected, we could all hear him perfectly. But that's the caliber of what we're dealing with these days. It's just incredible to me. Insane. But yeah, all of the emergencies that we have going on. Let's look at some historical emergencies in the past. I caught this one today. Pay attention, kids. It's not science, it's politics. I've been listening to this crap for over 50 years. In the 1960s, oil gone. In the next 10 years, remember that bell curve of oil and how it was all going to disappear? Didn't happen. 1970s, another ice age is coming in 10 years. Watch out. Oh yeah, but that didn't happen. That didn't happen. 1980s, acid rain will destroy all the crops. In 10 years, we're going to have no food. Whew, except that didn't happen. 1990s, the ozone layer is being destroyed by your frizzy hair and your hairstyle. Stop teasing your hair because we're all going to die from overheating from the ozone layer. And yeah, that's no good. And never happened. Ozone's been coming back. Turns out it fluctuates. That was some new science that we figured out. 2000s, the ice caps will be gone in 10 years. Yeah, none happened, but all resulted in more taxes. That's where we're at. That's definitely, yeah, 2012. That was the Mayans. They predicted that one from all that time ago. So that was a big scare for a lot of people. That was something else. 2000, what was it? Y2K. The computers, they can't, they're not going to know what a 2000 is after all those 19s we've been throwing at it. That turned out to be just fine. Totally fine. But I don't know if I want to get into that one. But here's an interesting one that I saw in, this is New Scientist. Joe from our Discord, and you see him in here all the time, popped this up in the Discord, and I'm kind of interested in this newly evolved microbes may be breaking down ocean plastics. This is published May 7, 2017. Whoa, this is an old article. What the heck? Okay, this is the first I've heard of this though. Really? Is it that long ago? Yeah, published June 3rd, 2017. Why are we not hearing more on this? Plastics, there should be hundreds of thousands of tons of this stuff floating around in our oceans, but we're finding less than expected, perhaps because living organisms are evolving the ability to break it down. Plastic production is rising exponentially, so ever more of it should be ending up in the oceans, but says Ricard Soul, who studies complex systems at Universitat Pompeu Fabria in Barcelona. But surveys of areas where floating plastic accumulates, such as the North Atlantic gyre, I don't know how you spell that. Is it a gyro or a gyro? Are not finding nearly as much plastic as expected. Mystery of the missing plastics. The mystery of the missing plastics, tonight at 8 on Discovery. In fact, there's only 1/10 to 100 as much plastic as expected, and the amount of floating plastic does not appear to be increasing. The trend should be there, Soul says. This lack of trend cannot be explained by physical processes, according to his team's mathematical models. Instead, they propose that there has been a population bloom in microbes that have evolved the ability to biodegrade plastic. Other researchers agree that the surveys are finding less plastic in the oceans than expected. However, they say there are several other possible explanations for this missing plastic. Surprisingly, if ocean plastic is being degraded much faster than thought, it is not clear that this is a good thing. It's difficult to say, says Matthew Cole of Exeter University in the UK. For instance, biodegradation could be speeding up the breakdown of large pieces of plastic into lots of very tiny pieces, which might have a greater impact overall. This is the first time reading this, actually. So if you guys are aliens, I'm not saying it's aliens, but aliens did it, right? This is really interesting. Really, really interesting. Plastic also contains various additives that could get released and enter the food chain if the plastic part biodegrades, says environmental chemist Alexandra Terhel. These names are always horrible. At the Laboratoire de IMRCP in France. To really tackle the plastic problem, we need to stop it getting into the oceans in the first place, Cole says. The plastosphere. I agree with that. So a big problem with the straws that are ending up in the ocean is not us, turns out. Hey, saving the turtles by having a paper straw is not actually doing anything to save the turtles. The thing that'll save the turtles is not putting straws in the ocean. And hey, wait a second, are we the ones doing it? Well, no. For the most part, the plastic straws that find themselves in the ocean are coming from the third world. They're coming from places that don't have the resources and don't have the ability to manage garbage. So we could take all that effort that we're putting into saving turtles by making everybody's restaurant experience terrible and put it into waste management. I think waste management might be an answer to a lot of this stuff. You know what? I'm going to put this article in the description because it's a good one. And I'm surprised at how old it is for how controversial that take might be. Yeah, blame Canada. Our garbage management is terrible. And when we take recycling material, like all the stuff that we're supposed to be recycling, and you ship it across the ocean to, you know, countries in Asia, and then they sort through it, discern that half of it's not even recyclable, and then ship it back to you, and then you ship it to another country to have it incinerated, is a terrible model. It's a terrible, terrible, terrible model. We should really, with modern catalyst efficiencies, we should be incinerating a lot of garbage, getting energy from it, and actually reducing pollution. Yeah, with modern catalysts, a lot of the stuff that would come out and be pollutants doesn't come out. What comes out is water and water vapor and CO2, which you're not gonna avoid getting CO2 out there, because you throw it in a landfill and it just comes out as methane anyway. So, and that's another gas. No, Clyde, we will just be taxed for other countries' problems. Rolling the eyes. Yeah. No, I get it. Because here's the thing. I can't stand environmentalists. And the reason why I can't stand environmentalists is because when it comes down to it, they don't want to solve the problems. Like you get environmentalists coming to you saying, we've got issues with this and this, and so you come up with a solution, and they're like, nah, let's just tax the thing. You're like, wait a second. You pull that green sticker off, and it's a hammer and sickle behind it. You had me fooled. In fact, they don't use a hammer and sickle anymore. I saw what is it? The Ontario communists. There's actually I gotta find this again, because I followed them because I wanted to keep an eye on it because it's hilarious. Ontario is like on commie or something. Yeah, on commies. They no longer use the hammer and sickle. I guess that's new branding they're going for. They use wheat and a gear. It's still like gonna obtain the means of production, you know, of course, by a bunch of people that have never seen a raw wheat plant or the internal workings of anything with a gear. We're not talking about working types. We're talking about, you know, the ones that want to be the planners. They don't want to be the workers. Workers unite. Hey, you workers over there, unite for me. Unite for me. I need a paycheck. But yeah, that's the new Communist Party of Canada, of Ontario. I gave them a follow because I want to see what's going on with their timeline. It's interesting to me. Very interdasting. Yeah, brilliant idea. Cracks me up. Definitely cracks me up. Too much red on my screen. Not a fan. Not a fan. I like the color red, but not, the red that commies get usually come in. Well, you know what kind of red they bring. It's either that or slowly with starvation. But a couple more things in the news this evening. So former Ottawa Police Chief Sully is to break his silence on the Freedom Convoy. This is coming up. So this is an article from CTV News talking about the fact that he's going to be, Peter Sully is scheduled to appear as a witness the Parliamentary Committee on Thursday. This is the committee that's looking into expanding federal jurisdiction of security in the parliamentary precinct to include sections of the Wellington Street and Spark Streets. Wellington Street in front of Parliament has been closed since the protest. Pardon me. Will he get Epsteined? I don't know. So he wouldn't go along. He wouldn't go along with what the mayor wanted, and he wouldn't go along with some of the stuff that the liberals. You guys are all laughing about the commie thing. It made me laugh because I was like, we already have the Liberal Party. I don't know why you had redundancy. Come on. Anyway, getting back to the story. Yeah, he wasn't enough of a thug. And he was really trying to do the things that he was told to do. And he wasn't enough of a thug, so they had to replace him. He had to resign. He was resigned. And he's out. He's out. And yeah, they're calling him in to testify. So that's an interesting thing. And if anything interesting comes out of it, I'm definitely going to be reporting on that. Let you guys know. Now, last story I think of the evening I'm going to touch on, because this one's hard for me to report on because I have kids and I don't know. Whoa, I just don't even want to get into it at that. Yeah, this one's way too difficult for me. Yeah, so there was a shooting that happened down in Texas this week. It was barbaric. It was skip it. Don't talk about it. Should I skip it? Yeah, maybe I'll say a few words. Because the media immediately wants to go into politicizing it. But yeah. Okay, I'm going to do a poll. Do you want me to skip this story? Do you want me to not talk about it? Can I do a poll? I don't know how to do polls. I never learned how to do the poll. Oh, create a poll. Here we go. Okay, doing a poll. Talk about the shooting, yes or no? Asking the community. Boom, boom. I put it out. Did it show up? Did it show up? Are you seeing the poll? Okay, you guys vote on this, and I'll serenade the poll with some music, and you can guess what song I'm playing. if you can pick it up, I don't know. right. Who got it? Who got it? Hey, man, good chops. All right, what do we got here? What do we got here? Yep, say goodbye. Rick rolled, baby. Yeah, I just Rick rolled you all. Oh, nice one. Thanks. Nice tune. I love that song. I go way back with the internet. Oh no, Clyde would be stuck. Okay, what happened to the poll? Okay, I'm gonna end the poll. And what's the decision on the poll? Wait. Talk about the shooting. 52% said yes at 119 votes. Okay, so I'm going to talk about it. But I'm going to keep it brief because I don't want to get emotional because it really just... yeah, it makes me really sick. Yeah, it was really, really close. So because for the interest of, appeasing both sides, I'll talk about it, but I'll keep it brief without going too nutty and losing my mind because, yeah, that's how I feel about it. Cover it. No, this is going to be the last story of the night. So this is that's what I'm going to talk about. So I'm not going to get into a lot of the details about what actually occurred. If you're interested in that, you can look into it because that's just I can't do it. But here we go. Hero cop rushed into Texas massacre school from barbers with a shotgun to rescue 20 kids, including his daughter. 8 after wife who teaches there texted him saying there's an active shooter, help. Now, an off-duty border patrol agent. Why am I getting this weird look on here? Off-duty border patrol agent has told how he evacuated children, including his own 8-year-old daughter, from Robb Elementary School. Is this the wrong thing? This was shared to me. Armed with a shotgun he had grabbed from his barber. He's left. No, this is a different one, is it not? Is this not the same story? No, I think this is the same one. I just don't think they're mentioning the town. Yeah. No, this is the same story. Yeah, anyway. I don't want to, yeah. Oh, yeah. How do you pronounce that? UCOB. A father of 3 received. Anyway, let's get into this. So the guy rushed out to save his own daughter. What I want to talk about more is the media's response to this and the political hacks that have been doing their stuff. And then also, it's actually the guy that shot the guy. Yeah. So here we are. Beautiful family here. And happy to see that they're still together. And there was absolute tragedy with what went on. And, yeah, 19 kids lost in this incident. And immediately the media pulled out the race card until it was evident that this school and the shooter and the victims, none of them fit the description that they wanted for their narrative. So they shifted the narrative immediately. And I just want to say that it's absolutely disgusting what the media has done in this case. And it's just unbelievable. But the hardest thing for me to cope with in this whole story is the fact, yeah, Obama hit a new low with his tweet. Obama did hit a new low with his tweet. And I have it here. So Barack Obama says, as we grieve the children of Uvalde today, we should take some time to recognize the 2 years have passed since the murder of George Floyd under the knee of a police officer. His killing stays with us to this day, especially those who loved him. There's no reason to mention those two things don't have anything to do with each other. But of course, somebody put this out here today, replying to him, saying, if Obama apologized for one civilian drone victim every day, it would take him 3 years. And I think that was a little bit more fitting for his response here. That's... I don't have any kind words for that. Oh, this is such a hard one for me. I'm not going to play this video because he talks about the details of it. The issue here is the time that it took. So we have, and of course, immediately the anti-gun people went out there and started doing their thing, right? They got on social media, started doing their thing. I think Michael Moore was out there saying stuff. I replied to Michael Moore's thing. I'll just put that one up. So, because I don't even know how to cope with this one. So Michael Moore said, big macho Texan men with all their guns, materialized and militarized equipment refused to risk their lives to save the children. For over an hour, they ran and hid. Then for hours after the killer was dead, they paraded around with all their guns looking important when in fact they were simply cowards. Now, the funny thing is I agree with what he says here. I agree with what he says. But this isn't the only thing he said all day. He's used this as a platform for him to talk about his gun control advocacy. Because he comes out of the woodwork whenever there's a possibility that people are going to pay attention to him for this thing. So I quote tweeted it saying this. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but is Michael Moore giving an argument for why teachers should have the ability to defend themselves and their students? Because that's what that sounds like to me. Because my argument here is that, I mean, this is a multi-tiered system, multi-tiered situation. These shootings, and I don't think that the shootings have to do with the tool being used. I mean, obviously they wouldn't be shooting if they didn't have the ability to get guns, but they would be doing other things. This is an issue with mental health and people's ability to deal with life, their detachment from society. I can't remember who I heard today say an old expression where that they had in some other country where like a child isolated from the community would rather burn the community down just to feel the warmth of the community in that way. And it's a terrible situation, and people who are using it as a vehicle to further their political thing, because the gun thing is, I think, just a political thing. It's not going to change this scenario. It's not. And Beto O'Rourke showed up to a hearing where they were talking about this, and he weaseled himself in, and took some parent's seat that was from the school apparently to grandstand, and he got kicked out by the authorities there, and was promptly scolded, like, take your politics out of here. This is not the venue for this. Shame on you, kind of thing. Yeah, I don't typically report on stories like this, but you know, if you wanted houses to stop being built, taking away all the hammers is not going to stop people from building houses. You know what I mean? Taking away a tool is not going to stop the act from happening. Yeah, sorry. I'm not going to get into the George Floyd thing. I think that was disgusting what Obama had to say. That is just terrible. Has nothing to do, those two things have nothing to do with each other. Absolutely nothing to do with each other. Yeah, here I am saying again a lot. But so here's the idea. People are being told that the authorities should be the only ones to act in a scenario. The authorities should be the only ones that have the authority to take matters into their own hands, and that we should trust them for our safety. And I think this scenario goes against that argument, because not only did that town spend, I think I heard the statistic, the stat that I heard was 40% of their town's budget was on police, and they were properly kitted out. They had all the resources they could possibly ever need, and they showed up, and they didn't do anything when there was people that wanted to do something. And there was parents that were detained. There was parents that were detained because they wanted to go in. And it's upsetting to me. It's definitely upsetting to me. So yeah, that's about all I got to talk about on that. That's about all I've got. I'm not putting anything more into that. I'm sorry, guys. That's where I'm at. And yeah, I found it really disgusting to see Canadian politicians jumping on board with this as well. But this is par for the course now. This is the bed they've made, and this is what they're going to lie in, because what they've done was they've not just with this topic, but they're taking American news and American stories, and they're making Canadian political issues. Yeah. Well, thank you everybody for yeah. Thank you for bearing with the way I covered that one. I don't want to. Yeah. My issue is with the media and with Canadian politicians using this as a tool for their agenda, for what they want to put forward. And that's really tough. That's really tough to deal with. So Canadian politicians, it's not their first time to do it, but it's definitely not their first time recently doing it. So there was the issue with Roe versus Wade that's happening in the US. Has nothing to do with Canada. It's not a Canadian law. It doesn't change anything that's happening in Canada. It's not a thing that's on the debate. It's not being debated right now. It's not even on the floor. It's not on the table. We're not discussing it, but they're turning it into a Canadian issue. What Roe versus Wade is doing with them repealing it is sends it back to the states to decide whether it's legal or not. In Canada, it's up to the provinces what the healthcare system does regarding that. So it's almost as if they're more the same as us now in that regards. So this is none of the facts are actually being used here. They're just using these things as political issues, because they know how polarizing it is. That if they just grab, a certain demographic, they're always about demographics. It's really upsetting to watch people use this tragic death of children to pad their political agenda. I agree. I mean, there's arguments that can be made, but again, it's one of those things. It's absolutely horrible. Let's look at what can be done in the future to prevent these things. And we're not looking in the right places if we're following politicians. I'll tell you that. We are not looking in the right places because, well, for one, guns have been around forever and these things haven't been happening. So clearly something else is the problem. And why don't we want to address those problems? Maybe there's money behind it. Because in my opinion, I think pharmaceutical drugs have a big role to play in this. It's sad. I'm an American. I live right under Canada, yet I have to listen to you, Clyde. I don't know that because most of the students are Mexican descent. Oh my God, yeah, they are. Yeah, that's the case. And again, they tried to run with that narrative, the narrative that they wanted until, yeah. Okay, I'm done with that story. Yeah, it's clown world for sure. Having a lack of racism sounds nice. You know what? I mean, this whole drummed up idea that people around the world or people around North America are racist is just, I don't see it. Show it to me. I know that there's people that say unsavory things, but I don't think, I don't really buy it. I think animosity is used as a tool, especially when there's like, immigration and all of that stuff. I'm pro-immigrant. I think the doors are open too widely right now, but I think bring in all the best people from all around the world. I think it's a double-edged sword though, because it's a brain drain on other places. But I'm definitely in favor of bringing the world's best people here. I'm all for that. Because, well, my wife is one of them. She's the best in my world. And she's not originally from Canada. There's no trustworthy news source here anymore. Well, there's us in the independent circles, to hold truth to power. That's the idea. Look at the news, look at the stories, and give our opinions about it. And let people know that they're not crazy. Because this is the thing. My ideas are not radical. My ideas, I'm not some smart guy. I'm just opinionated and I voice my opinion. A lot of people tend to agree that are tuning in, but a lot of times people are thinking these things for themselves and they just want to hear somebody else say it because it's evident and they just want to know that they're not crazy because you're being gaslit from every which angle. And that's really what's going on. And the more people are being gaslit and painted into a corner, the more they lash out and they feel like they're losing their minds. Moose meat is better than jag meat. Get out of here. Oh, that's funny. But are you drinking enough though? Oh, I'm trying. I just keep losing my voice ever since I got that cold. Clyde, you have helped me every morning. Thank you. I appreciate it. And hey, guess what? I think we're going to call an end to this because we've been at it for nearly 2 hours now. And love hanging out with you guys so much that what I've been doing is hanging out more. So after these streams, I'll go hang out in the Discord for a while. Have a little chat with everybody, anybody that wants to say something. If you don't know, if you're not a member of the Discord, the link is in the description of this stream. It's in the description of every video that I ever publish. And yeah, Discord, if you're not familiar with it, it's another social media platform. It's a little bit more intimate and interactive. There's chat rooms, there's voice channels. You can hang out with the community. Lots of great people hanging out there. And yeah, I tend to hang out and have conversations with people after. We'll see how busy the chat room gets, but there's really, really cool people with really great ideas. And I love bringing people together because more good ideas come out of the whole mix. But yeah, definitely. One thing I'm going to be doing moving forward is spending more time. I think I'll some work days with my new shop setup that's coming up. I'll be able to jump in the Discord and have conversations while I'm pulling wrenches with some people as well. So definitely tune into that. Sorry, I'm looking down because I'm looking at the chat as it's rolling. And the soda's giving me the burps. And I'm losing my voice. All of this, all at the same time. But hey, thank you guys all for tuning in. I'm really, really thrilled that you guys come out every week and hang out and chat with me for this session as I go over some of the other stories that take place during the week. This time you actually got to hear me playing the piano. That was a first. So that's a thing. And always having fun. But I don't think I have anything else to add. Come in tomorrow. We're going to be chatting with James Top. He's walking across, he's marching. Forgive me. I keep saying walking. I'm not a military guy. Apparently I don't know the difference between walking and marching. It's different. But yeah, he's marching across the country, 4,000 kilometers from Vancouver to Ottawa. And he's in Ontario already. Guy's a champ. So we're going to be chatting with him tomorrow. I'm going to find out some things about how to keep your nutrition up when you're walking. I got to ask him that because I haven't heard anyone ask him that. So I'm going to be asking him that, how he does it. How do you keep I'm always worried about having too many calories. How do you get enough when you're doing that is the big question. So anyway, tune into that. We'll be doing that at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Check your local listings. That's all the way at like 1 o'clock in Ontario. It's crazy how the time zones work. Clyde, how many times have you been told he's marching? Too many times that I should know this by now. Anyway, really enjoy spending my time with you guys. Tune in tomorrow. If I don't see you then tomorrow, we'll see you on Monday with another morning video. Hopefully I get more than just one out on Monday. Holy cow, sorry about the late start this morning. Anyway, gonna go talk to you in the Discord, and as always,